Hey guys, well it's Sunday today. Haven't heard from Mike yet, so I'm just preparing my anvil. I've got the railroad tie that my buddy Darren brought me. I got that all cut up to length. I got the base plate mounted with railroad tie or tracks, spikes, I guess. And right now I'm just in the process of welding this plate, the top plate to the middle plate, with my grandpa's arc welder. That I brought my welder home, I tacked it into place so it doesn't friggin' wobble around, and there is quite a bit of porosity in the welds because it's not clean plate by any means, so yeah, that's some of the thing. So I'm just going over it with arc. I'll make a couple passes and then I'll go around the outside and then I'll clean up the that ring there and weld it to that. And then another reason why I brought my MIG home is I started making one of these. I posted it all over Facebook. That's gonna go there like that. And I don't want to arc weld it, so I'm going to use my MIG to attach it. And then I will have a square hardy hole. Hooray! So anyways, I figured I'll just record this and see where we go. In preparation for Mike showing up, I moved the brick back one, so now I'm going to be running on 2 burners. And yeah, just that, it's like caramelized or something. It's weird. So we'll see how she runs on 2 burners. And yeah, I also tried making some tongs. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but this is also my first set, so they don't really line up the greatest. Yeah. So I don't know if I gotta kick the flat part up a bit more and shave that down or what, but they don't line up so good. But again, my first attempt. It was good practice, I guess. So I brought coil spring home. I made a punch marking tool with that, and I tempered it, heat treated it, and tempered it. And you can see I got that nice straw color there, so that worked pretty good. All I did was I stuck the back end in the forge and I kept an eye on it until it started getting blue, and then I pulled it out, had a look at it. It wasn't quite straw yet, so I threw it back in, and then once it was straw colored I pulled it out, quenched it, and now she's tempered, so pretty right. Anyways, back to this. And you guys will have to forgive me, I haven't done a ton of arc welding, so I think this is probably my 3rd attempt at it, and I was using really crappy masks, so it wasn't dark. Well, it wasn't auto darkening, but it was really jittery. Like it would, there's a control knob on the side of it, and it would go extremely dark. Like you could stare at the sun, and it would just be like a faint light. Arc welding, you couldn't see anything. So I brought my my good one home. I'm using that. So I did right. Well guys, I got my Anvil welded onto the base now, so it's all secured. Now I'm working on getting my hardy hole attachment done. I sat this over the top to make sure it was square and flat. So now I'll just weld her up. That's going to take a couple passes to build up the level. Getting a little warm on here, it's starting to shrink. So I'll grind her down and see if we need to fill any more, but that should do it. Nah, I'm gonna make some passes on the bottom. Well guys, freaking got her done. Got the hardy hole base onto it. It's looking like it's just a hair unsquare here, but I could fix that. I just gotta grab my file set. So, not bad. It's a little wavy. Actually, it's actually not that bad. It's a little high right here and a little low right here, but she's flat. That has been friggin-tastic. So yeah, I did another 120 polish on it just because of freaking rough grinder marks. I think I might actually go back and do a 60 on it to get rid of this really coarse stuff, and then a 120 over top of that. But yeah, I gotta knock all the slag out of there. But yeah, she freaking turned out not too bad. I went around the face of the guy and freaking cleaned all that and squared it up, and a little bit of porosity right there, just probably because there was something trapped in there. But other than that, all the welds freaking took pretty good. I keep picking my leg. Don't arc weld in shorts unless you got something between you, because I freaking burned the crap out of my leg. A couple of, well, when I was welding this plate to this plate. So anyways, yeah, I don't have a wire wheel. Otherwise I'd go over the whole thing and freaking polish it up, but yeah, that's freaking deadly. So now the anvil itself weighs 167 pounds. This piece without the bottom plates was 97 pounds. This is 8 pounds, and the base plates, this was 44 and this was another 13. So yeah, freaking heavy. And then the horn is, that chunk right there is 10 pounds. But I'm going to be grinding probably a third of it off, so factor in 6 pounds. So 167 plus 6 is 173. So she'll be pretty formidable. What I think I'm going to do now is grab, I must have some chain around here somewhere. Could have sworn. I'm not. No. But I'll wrap the base in chain so that it takes the ring out of it. I wonder how much it does ring. Yeah, she rings. Still got that good rebound. Good for friggin' what it is. If it was a true anvil, it would have, I think, probably more ring. I don't know. Mike's got one. Hoping he shows up here pretty quick so that I can get forging. But I don't know. I might just start without him. But yeah. Anyways, I friggin' used my 3/4 inch wood bit that I used to drill all the holes for the electrical, and went about, I don't know, I'd say 2.5 inches deep into each one of those so that it didn't split. And it looks like that one actually did split, but whatever. And the spikes are like, I don't know, they're long. Say 6 inches or so. So I only drilled down about that far, so it had that much more to go unassisted. So yeah, freaking, I love that. That looks so freaking deadly. I can't believe I built it. Like, with that one, an actual real anvil, people would be asking probably $800 up here for one, which is just ridiculous. I can't afford that. I thought I heard somebody, but nobody's here. Anyways, I'm gonna drag that thing, if I can, over to here. Actually, I'm gonna sweep up first, drag it over to here, and then sweep everything up and start cleaning up the shop. And then I might cut the coil spring and straighten those out and try to make tongs again. Because these, I'm noticing when I'm hitting it really hard, it's starting to bend here. Like I'll squeeze something really hard and then freaking start wailing on it on the anvil, and it's stressed there. So, but they're actually working pretty decent for what they are. A freaking cheapo pair of pliers with some rounded bits welded to them. So, not complaining. They work for these. Can't freaking multitask. Yeah, so when I had it in here and I was wailing on it, it was freaking starting to stress it. So yeah, and then I might end up making some square hardy hole tools instead of my round stuff. So yeah, this served me well so far. It's still sharp. It's got a good edge onto it still. Not bad for freaking mild steel. I like that. My first tool. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna clean up and see what happens. Might actually have to do a memory card dump, but it appears I've only got about 10 minutes of footage left. So if Mike shows up, I want to be prepared and have the memory card all cleared and ready for 1 hour's worth of footage. But the crappy thing is this light assembly that I built. I got a piece of carbon fiber attached to the bottom of it, and that's blocking my memory card port. So I can't. I'd have to disassemble the light thing off it, reattach it, and it's quite glued on there. So in order to add, I've got a 16 gig memory card kicking around inside the house, and I was gonna throw in this until I looked at the bottom. I was like, ugh. But anyways, I'm starting to get freaking spots in my eyes from the bright light, so I will shut up and start cleaning. So guys, they're all swept up. Big freaking pile. There's some black stuff in there. I'm sure it's off the bottom of those plates. Yeah, I'm glad I wore my respirator this time. Freaking didn't do it a couple days ago when I was grinding those two plates together, or grinding them to weld them together. But yeah, freaking Anvil. Next thing I gotta do is get some leather strapping. I think I've got an old set of gloves that I just freaking melted the fingers on because I was getting too close with my plasma cutter, so you can't even bend them or straighten them or fit your hand into it properly. I can't remember what was up with them, but I cut one of them apart for the pouch for my slingshot. Anyways, I think I'll add some straps onto there so I can hang my hammers and stuff. I think that'd be a good idea. But yeah, she's freaking, oh man. I drug it from there. You can see where it was sitting. There's the freaking stumps, or the railroad tie. I drug it that far and it was freaking exhausting. So I'm sure this weighs probably about 60 pounds, 50, 60 pounds, somewhere around there. Plus the 167, I think I said. That's like 200 pounds right there. So yeah, that's well over my weight. Well guys, I'm gonna cut this coil spring up and then fire the forge, and then yeah, see what happens from there. Really need to build a vise or buy a vise or something. Frickin' sparks were going right up my shorts. Whew. That felt interesting. So now I'll fire the forge on 2 burners and see how she does. Popsicle sticks make good starters. That was like 3 seconds and the mouth of the board melted my glove. Forgot to hit record. Got her. Now I'm working on a stretcher, and I take the propane bottle out, so it's nice and pretty hot. But I'm going to squash that down. It just fits inside here, so I'm going to squash it down so it's fatter, and then I'm going to square it off and make it fit this hole real nice, and then round the top of it so that I'm not trying to dabble with the camera. I'm not trying to flatten like this stuff on here because it's too flat. It takes way too long. These are too hard of a corner, so I'm going to build something nice, probably like that radius, so I can stretch material easier. So I'd say that's about ready to be snapped. So let's do it. Well guys, I stopped recording for a fair bit of it because my battery is going to die in this thing, and I didn't want to waste a bunch of time repeating the same thing over and over and over. But I got the piece cut. What I did was I was trying to flatten it out, squish it and consolidate the material. But what kept happening was the bottom of it would flare out, and that was all that was happening. So I quenched it a few times. I'd pull it from the forge, quench the first, I don't know, ½ inch of it. You can probably mark the anvil a bit. You can see the square cut right in there and a few spots. But anyways, I'd quench the end of it, hammer it, and then it would start flaring it out a little further up. Then I took my hot cut tool and cut it off, and then squash the end of her down so that it would fit just into the hole, and then I drive it into the hardy hole. And it's definitely not square because the tool only fits one way. If it was square, it would be able to fit all 4 ways. Anyways, yeah, I'm freaking getting tired. It's getting late. It's about 7 o'clock now and darker as frig, so anyways, yeah, I'm gonna have that annealing or whatever. I just threw it in there to cool it off. But yeah, this is happening. Forget who, but one of you guys warned me about the smaller tanks icing up. So it's definitely affecting the heat. There was black spots where the air propane mixture was coming down into the forge. So I need to figure out how to address this issue without getting 100-pound tanks, because I don't have the money for that. Not right now anyways. So yeah, if any of you guys know how to deal with propane icing issues, I was kind of thinking about getting a bucket or something that these fit into, and well, a little bit wider actually, fill it with water, and then have one of those what are they called? They're like underwater heaters. They're used in feed troughs and stuff to keep the water from icing up, so the animals can drink. Think about running one of those. But I moved the propane tank to here so that it's got a little bit of radiant heat. The amount of heat coming to the propane tank and back there's nothing. You could stand in that corner and shiver. Here it was a little warmer. If I had moved it here where I'm standing, which is too close for comfort to the forge, it might have worked better, but I don't want that thing exposed to direct heat. Not a good idea. Anyways, yeah, the tool's turned out pretty decent. Let's see if I can grab it here. I am just sweating like crazy. I am so warm. So yeah, it only fits in one way. That's not the way. I think maybe that's the way. I don't know. I had to drive this thing out when I remember the material building up at the back here. So, but anyways, this is going to be my stretching tool. I've got to flatten it out so it's a little bit wider, and then kind of dome it so that it's got the same radius as about that hammer. I figured that'd be pretty decent for stretching material, because trying to stretch the handles for the tongs on this is just not working. And like I said, these edges are just too sharp, and they're chopping into the material. Actually, this is all these little lines that look like cracks. That is from using the edge of the anvil to try to stretch material. So yeah, but hot cut tool's still holding up, still has a decent edge to it, and it cut through, well, I think it's 1-inch material with frickin' no problems. This piece is still quite hot, and I know from experience now, don't touch stuff if you put it in the forge. So yeah, that's what it looks like when it's when you cut it. So it does a pretty decent job. It took 2 heats to cut all the way through it, but it did it really cleanly. And then when I got this to the point where it fit in the hole, I just beat on it and it would friggin', well, it turned out actually really smooth. So yeah, she's freaking coming along. So, and it doesn't look like this cracked any. Oh no, I see a micro fracture. You can see that little crack just in that ridge, but hopefully, well, it's still solid. If I have to, I'll just freaking make a couple more passes. But I figured you have to be careful when you're welding on this stuff. If it's cold and you weld to it, it'll crack. That's why all my tacks cracked. So when I made 2 or 3 passes around this, and it's held up fine now because this piece was already hot by that time. So, but it's weird. My the MIG weld held up just fine. There's no cracking in that. A little bit of porosity right there, but that's from contamination. But yeah, it's freaking awesome. So I got actually a lot done today. Finished my anvil. Well, not quite. I need to put the horn onto it still and grind that all down. Yeah, I made 1/2 of the tongs so far. Yeah, see, this is just, I need new tongs. So I was figuring out some different angles and stuff. This should work a lot better, because you got to come in straight, kick that pivot piece up, and then kick the tong back down. So it's still far from finished. I got a lot of work to do on this, but I think it'll be a lot better than this. So yeah, we'll see what happens tomorrow. My wife is working tomorrow as well, so I will be in here messing around with fire. So yeah, I'm gonna look up some stuff and see if I can't figure out how to keep propane bottles from icing. And yeah, anyways, this is a 7.5 minute long section already, so this video is going to be long. Anyways guys, that'll do it for tonight. So thanks for watching, and until next time, may the forge be with you. Take care guys.